Friends, I do not even know what to say, to be honest. Last week, I made $280,000 in one single Forex trade that I had held for about a week and a half. And it is the biggest profit on a single trade that I have ever made in my entire Forex trading career, which has been 10 years and 1 month. It's so wild. So here's the profit right here. This is my private Discord server where I call every single one of my trades live and have been doing so for the past 4 years. And you can see right here, Euro USD. And I made, after the swaps and commissions, which were actually positive net, I made $280,000 on a single trade. And I have another trade that I'm in right now on CHFJPY, which is basically the same exact setup. We're going to talk about this Euro USD trade here in a second. Believe me, I'm going to break it all down. But on this one on CHFJPY, it's the same basic trade where I've entered a sell at resistance, stop above for $50,000 risk, and a target below for actually $100,000 of profit. And as you can see, that is about halfway to the profit target. This was yesterday whenever the market opened, so there was high spreads and stuff like that. At that time, because it was like 13 minutes after market open. But that currently sits right now about a third of the way to the profit target. You can see right here with the spreads adjusted and everything like that, it's in about $30,000 of profit. And so if we come down even further, then I'll make $100,000, and that's with only a $50,000 risk. So it's absolutely insane. It's been such a crazy past few trading weeks. I was on a losing streak for 2 weeks, and then last week, and just like basically like one trade, I made back all the losses that I've lost for 2 straight weeks, and I made profit on top of that, while the risk stayed roughly the same for this trade. So I'm gonna break all this down here. This is the trade that I took. So the way that I trade is I go to the higher time frames, okay? I go to the weekly chart, I go to the daily chart, I look at the regions where prices bounced at multiple times before, okay? That's it. That's all I do is I look where prices bounced multiple times before in the higher time frames. If you just do that, I think you're going to be so much better off than a lot of other people that are trying to trade the 1 minute time frame scalping with momentum and Fibonacci pullback retracement and market order block, institutional liquidity gap, SMC, ICT, fair value distribution, bullish Wagyu beef, Kobe steak, candlestick entry strategies. I think you're going to be a lot better off if you don't do any of that bullshit. And instead, you just look for where prices seem to have bounced very clearly multiple times in the past on the higher time frames like weekly and daily, and then you just set an alert at that area on the chart. You wait for price to get there, and when it gets there, you do this right here that I'm about to show you. It's a big secret. The banks don't want you to know. Here's what you do. You enter a damn sell when it gets to the resistance zone, and you put a stop above the zone, and you put a target below it at just 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio. That's all you have to do. And, you know, I should be one to talk. I've been trading Forex and crypto and stocks for the past over a decade. I've made millions of dollars combined in all markets, Forex, crypto, and stocks, and I've been teaching for the past 8 years. And I've been running a free Telegram channel for the past 8 years where I just share all these trades live, like a lot of them, right? And I share the recaps and everything. I'll put a link in the description and in the pinned comment if you want to join the free Telegram channel. And then my private Discord is where I actually call all these specific exact live trades. So you can check that out, but I don't post a link to this. You have to join the free Telegram channel. You have to follow my free trades in here for a while, my analysis, see if my trading style is something that makes sense to you because it's so damn simple. And if you like the stuff in the free Telegram channel, then yeah, maybe you can check out my paid Discord server. But for now, let's go ahead and jump back into Euro USD. So I sell, I put my stop loss above the zone, and then I put my take profit at 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio. So whenever you do this, a cool part about this is that it allows you to manage the trade dynamically. If you're trying to go for 1-to-5 risk reward, 1-to-10, 1-to-69, 1-to-420 risk to reward ratio, you're going to have long losing streaks. You're going to have trade after trade after trade just stop out over and over and over. And every now and then you get a nice little winner. But after the fees and commissions and the swaps and all the stop outs and let alone the fact that most people can't even duplicate a system like that and execute it properly because of the crazy losing streaks. It's just mentally challenging to do that. Aside from all that, it turns out to not be a very profitable approach whenever you factor everything in together. If you're using 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio, what happens is when you get into a trade, if it starts going into profit and it looks like it's going to work, you can add to the position. You can bring the first position back to break even so you can make more on the ones you happen to win, or you can just hold it to the profit target. And if it starts to lose or looks like it's not going to work out, then what you can do is you can get out of those losing trades early. Or you can do dynamic things such as adding if it gets to a better spot in the zone while still having a final risk, right? While still having a final stop loss area and having calculated and factored in the total max amount of risk you want to risk for the trade. For this Euro USD trade, I started out at $100,000 risk, and then I increased it to $150,000 risk, and it stayed that way because I adjusted the stop losses and brought them closer after I'd added to it. So that way, if it went against me, I was only losing a little bit more than I had originally risked, right? So the risk went from $100,000 to $150,000. But if I won, which I happened to win on this one, I closed it manually just before the profit target. So I would have made $300,000 had it hit the profit target. I closed it a little bit early. So after fees and commissions and everything, I made $280,000, like after everything. That is the take-home pre-tax profit on that trade, $280,000. And I did this because I closed a little bit early, basically when it was almost to the TP. It was getting close to the Asian session changeover. Price was basically almost there. It was at a previous low where it might bounce. I was like, okay, this is good enough. I'll close it here. But the risk was maintained the whole time. And whenever you do things like this, it allows you to not have to play the types of games that so many other people play. You don't have to go out here looking for these crazy, insane trades. You're literally just going to the higher time frames and saying, do I think it will bounce at this support or resistance zone? Like literally, look at how simple this is, right? If we take everything off the chart here, and then you just go to a weekly chart, you have this area right here where prices bounced over and over as support and resistance, right? So it's bounced as resistance multiple times here, a little bit of leakage past it when this spiked back. Broke above, tested as support twice, failed, came back below, now tested as resistance. And this is the trade I made $280,000 on. Also, you have this down here. Look at how simple this is. It was resistance like once or twice here, third time for a second. Broke above, found support right there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I guess we'll call that 6 times. I've got an alert sitting right there. As a matter of fact, let me fine tune it. I'll drag it just a little bit higher right here. So when price gets there, you can bet your losing trading ass I'm probably going to be buying right there at that support zone. Why? Because it presents a very good risk structure. What does the risk structure looks like? Here it is. It's super complicated. This is the super complicated Nick Sean trading strategy. You buy at support, you put a stop below the support zone, and then you put a target above at 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio. When it starts to play out and as the trade begins to progress, if it looks like it's going to go to the profit target because it starts bouncing up and closing with bullish wicks on the 4-hour and the daily and maybe even the weekly pushes up and closes with a wick, and you see the candles start to make higher lows, you know, the higher highs and higher lows there on the 1-hour and 4-hour. If everything kind of aligns and makes it look like, okay, look, it's bouncing here, it's not breaking below, then hold the trade. And then if you can, under certain conditions, it's also appropriate to add to it, provided that your max risk is not exceeding whatever the threshold of your risk tolerance is. And then if it starts breaking below, or it looks like it's not going to work out, or it starts going sideways at the zone, and then it starts making lower highs as it continues to bang into the zone with a bunch of multiple different dead cat bounces at the support zone, well, guess what? It might not work. It's less likely. So you could just cut the trade there. Boom. Instead of having a loss, maybe you break even on it, or maybe it's only a partial loss. You close it a third of the way to the stop loss or half the way to the stop loss instead of taking the full stop out. So what we're trying to do is that even if price is just going to go up or down, and it's basically a coin flip, okay, you don't know. Nobody knows what the hell's going to happen, including me. The only reason I make money trading is because I have a good risk structure and I control risk very effectively. Given all the long losing streaks and all the short win streaks, I still somehow year after year have continued to make a profit for the past 8 years that I've been profitable trading. Because the first 2 years trading, I wasn't profitable. That was about a decade ago, March of 2016. We're in April of 2026 now. It has been 10 years and 1 month. And for about 8 of these years, I've been profitable because the first 2 years I was a dumbass and I wasn't controlling risk. And I was funding $20 accounts on Trader's Way, trading gold with a 0.1 lot, and then blowing my account in 15 minutes over and over again until it finally dawned on me that I was retarded and I shouldn't keep doing that. And so I learned how to control risk, learned how to structure things. And because of that, that is why I'm here today. Not because I can predict which way price is going to go. So if we assume that you cannot predict which way price is going to go, and we assume it's just 50-50, you have to figure out how the hell you're going to make a little more when you happen to be right versus the amount of money that you lose when you happen to be wrong. You can do this dynamically. It takes experience. That's why I call my trades live in a Discord server. There's no course that can teach you how to do this, okay? There's no mentorship where you can travel out somewhere and somebody's gonna teach you in a week how to be a profitable Forex trader. The best way to learn is through applied experience. That applied experience then generates the discretion and the intuition necessary for you to know what to do once you get into a trade and it begins to play out. Those little dynamic manual decisions that you have to make, that is where the wisdom comes into play. And the only way you get this is when you backtrack all the way, it comes down to applied experience. We're not sitting in a classroom trying to learn how to ride a bike. I'm not going to give you a whole college semester lecture on how the angular acceleration of the wheels of the bike and the pitch of the handlebars and like how many degrees you have to lean one way or other given what speed you're going at. We're not going to do any of that. The way that I teach Forex trading is instead of getting on a damn whiteboard and showing you all this bullshit, I do it live. I've traded live for 8 years, since 2018 when I started my Telegram channel. That Telegram channel I showed you in this video, I've been running that same channel for 8 years, okay? Since summer of 2018 when I started it. I posted my trades, I posted my analysis. This is like pre-pandemic. I've been posting everything in there, okay? I put my money where my mouth is. I've shown all the bad losing streaks. I've shown all the amazing, crazy win streaks. And you can bet your ass I'm bragging about it right now. Because when I'm on a losing streak, people are like, oh, you're on a losing streak. Then when I'm on a win streak, it's like crickets. I get a few congratulations, Nick, here and there. But a lot of people have really poor expectations when trading. So when we wind all this back, all I'm saying is the only way you get profitable is by getting enough experience to then know what those very like manually selective, intuitive, discretionary, subjective-based decisions have to be for you to then get out of a trade early, add to it, move the stop loss to a different location. You just have to see that stuff play out over and over again. And once you see it happen enough, then your brain naturally knows what to do to duplicate it because it recognizes future trading opportunities based on what the previous data is and what you know works and what you know doesn't work because you've seen it with your own eyes hundreds of times. That's why I trade live. That's why it's so effective to teach, and it's so much cheaper to teach. I used to charge thousands of dollars for a trading education program. It took me and my team like years of working with the person for a one-time payment of a couple $1,000s. Now I just charge $250 a month and people can stay as long as they need. Our average client right now stays about 6 months. It's 6 to 8 months, but we'll just round it down to about 6 months. So for like $1,500, people come in and they can learn for 6 months from us. They follow all my trades, they figure it all out. And then after they've seen it over and over again, and they can go through the whole history of the Discord server once they get in there to see all the previous trades and what I did and how I managed it. It's a master class in putting your money where your mouth is and showing people how actual trading works. A to Z, full beginning, start to finish, showing all the trades from the moment they're planned to the analysis, to the moment that they play out, to the moment I enter, all the way to the point where on some of these trades I'm making $280,000 in a single trade with the whole thing called live. Every single order modification, everything. It's all in here, right here in this Discord server. I literally just share it all. Every single thing, you can go all the way back and you can see every single trade taken. This account I started at like 350K. And now it's at like almost $600,000 and I'm growing it to $1 million live. Despite all the win streaks and the losing streaks, I'm growing the same account. And so with that being said, that is what I do here in this Discord server. And that's why it's so important to learn from experience. So if price does get down here on Euro USD, I'm going to be buying right there. That is what I'm going to be doing. The next trade that we're in right here is CHF JPY. As you can see, this super complicated, insane, like this is how the banks are trading, guys. This is the order block liquidation institutional bank manipulation strategy right here. Okay, price gets to a resistance zone and I sell. That is literally it. That's all I do. Like price gets to a major resistance zone, I sell. It gets to a major support zone, I buy. It's not hard. It's not difficult. Why are you making it so difficult? What the hell's your problem, huh? Why are you going to make it so difficult when all you have to do is buy support and sell at resistance? I have lost my hat now, and now you have to stare at my shiny bald head because I'm pissed off that you're taking so much time doing all these things that do not matter at the cost of things that do matter. All you need is support resistance. I explained to you my whole trading approach in like 10 seconds. Go to the weekly chart, set an alert at the next major support resistance zones. When it gets to resistance, sell. Put a stop above, put a target below at 1-to-1. Vice versa for buys. That's it. That's all I do. And so here on CHF JPY, what I did is price got into the resistance zone, and then I entered a sell. So I entered a short position up there. If we go down here to the daily, we go a little bit lower, you can actually see I was in a sell before this and that popped up above the zone and I lost that trade. And then what happened is after it broke back down below this trade last week, so this was 2 days ago. So this is Monday, this was Friday, and then this was Thursday. So it was like Thursday or Friday when I entered. You know what? Let me stop talking out my ass. Let's go back here to wherever I called it. Okay. CHFJPY, here it is, okay. 4:23:26 10:13 a.m. on April 23rd, 2026. So this was 4 days ago, otherwise known as 2 trading days ago. Okay, so you can see right here where I entered the sell, and again, this is all called live. Everything's time-stamped. No bullshit in here. I share every single thing live. You can see right there, I went short on CHFJPY, $50,000 risk to make a potential 100K profit. Stop loss and TP levels shown in the chart terminal above. So in the way I put this here is I'll show the actual trade. I'll show where the stop loss is. I'll show where the take profit is. So you can see price was bouncing at this resistance zone. We went above, broke the zone. I had lost the previous trade. And then when we came back down and broke below the zone, you see how it broke back below, but then it popped up here, hit the resistance zone and started to bounce away here on this daily candle. I decided, well, you know what? It's back below the zone. It's perfectly fine to go short again. No big deal. Okay, the first one didn't work out. Maybe the next one will. So I put my stop above and a target below, 50K risk to make 100K. So that's that. And then you can see all these terminals here. This is when Euro USD was going towards the profit target. And then you could see, you know, where I was like, I'm closing Euro USD here. This was at 12:45 p.m. on April 23rd. Yeah, so same day I entered CHFJPY. And then boom, $280,000, and then CHFJPY was sitting in profit. And then now we go all the way where we're at here, where I do recaps and stuff here in Telegram. This is where CHFJPY is now. And look at it. Look, all I did was I just sold at resistance with a stop above and a target below. If you do this in the lower time frames, it's not as reliable. And your position sizing has to be insane. It has to be really big position sizing. You pay more fees and commissions and really heavy swap fees if you have larger position sizing. You run into margin issues because you don't have enough like leverage or margin, even with 1 to 500, to be able to cover the huge ass position size you're using to put with the $1,000 risk with a 5 pip stop loss or something stupid like that. It's easier if you do it on the higher time frames, okay? Trust me, I'm uniquely qualified to tell you this. I've been doing this for a decade, right? And I've been doing this profitably for 8 years. I have coached over it's probably close to 4,700 clients now. But I'll just round it down and say I've coached for sure over 4,600 clients. I have taught millions of people who have seen my YouTube videos and my Instagram accounts and all my other social media who I literally had a free course on Teachable where 200,000 people were in the free course. I have taught so many people, easily over 1 million people and 4,600 paid clients how to do this. I've seen the same bullshit over and over again. I know where all the roadblocks are. I know where all the sharks and the piranhas and crocodiles are swimming around in the water. And I know where to say, hey, don't do that. Don't go there. It's not fun. You want to get screwed like I did the first 2 years? You want to get screwed for some of my clients that have gotten like not profitable over the course of 5 to 10 years and they come and learn from me and they're profitable within 6 to 12 months? Just listen to me. Just take my word for it. I've been posting videos here on YouTube since 2018, 2019. I've been running my Telegram channel since 2018. All the history is there. You can see everything. Been running this Discord server and my Discord products for like the past 3.5 years. Okay? I've been doing all this. I know how it works. Okay? You're better off trading higher time frames. If anything, just take my word for it. It's going to save you so much time in the long run. So that is why I got short on CHFJPY. And of course, if we're just going to do this correctly, I put my stop loss above this zone for 50K and then my take profit down here at about $100,000 profit, right? So we just have to have a nice little trickle off the zone. Normally what I would do if we were just selling at this resistance zone is I would put the stop loss a little bit higher above the zone and then the take profit at a 1-to-1. The reason I decided to structure this differently is because we already know where the confirmation of this exact resistance zone is because it's bouncing right there. We know this was a fake out just because it went above and it came right back below and closed on the daily. And then this popped back up above, hit that area, and then started to reject. So now I'm thinking, okay, the stop loss doesn't need to be all the way above that high. The stop loss just needs to be above where all of these highs are. So that's why I've elected to just put my stop loss just above this region, where we're at here above this zone. Because since it's right here at this zone, if this is the actual zone, it's not going to go anywhere near that. And then, even if it does, right? 50K risk for about 100K profit, I can live with that. If this next trade works, I'm going to be, where's this account going to be at? It's at 558 balance. And so if it gets to a 100K profit target, this account will be close to $660,000. I'm growing it to $1 million. And then I'm going to withdraw half of the account, which is 500 grand. I'm going to have to pay $200,000 in taxes because for me, capital gains tax in my tax bracket's like 37.5%. So I'll just round that up to 40%. So I'll withdraw 500K. I'll make an estimated payment to the IRS for 200K. I'll be left with 300K. I'm going to buy my wife a Lamborghini. No, she doesn't want a Huracan. A Lamborghini Urus Performante. I tried to convince her to get the Audi RS Q8 with a body kit, and she said no. So we have to pay $150,000 more for the damn Lamborghini. So I have to be risking a lot more on these trades now. And then what am I going to do? Maybe I'll buy myself a new hat. Maybe I'll buy myself a little bit nicer of a shirt or some socks that I haven't been wearing for the past 3 years. But priorities. My wife needs a fucking Lamborghini, so I guess we'll do that first. Now, what I will do is for the rest of this week, and as always, I'm going to post my analysis in the Telegram channel. I'm going to be sharing all my other analysis here for these trades that are coming up this week, just like this USD CHF trading opportunity here that we may or may not be about to take in the Nix Trades group today in Discord. Not saying anything, but we might be able to take that today. We've got all these other trades set up, so I'll be posting them in the free Telegram channel. So if you're not in there, fuck's sake, it's free. Just if you don't like it, you can decide to leave within 30 seconds. You can join with a link in the description. I'll put in the pinned comment too. I will see you in the next YouTube video, my friends. If you did hit the like button on this YouTube video, I really appreciate that because you didn't have to do that, but you did it anyway. And that is so cool. That is really, really cool. Wow. So cool. See you in the next one, my friends. Cheers.